Vaheguru, 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 Vaheguru.
ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਹਰ ਦਰਸ਼ਨ ਕੋ ਮੇਰਾ ਮਨ ਬਹੁਤ ਤਪਤੈ, ਜੋ ਤ੍ਰਿਖਾਵੰਤ ਬਿਨ ਨੀਰ, ਮੇਰੇ ਮਨ ਪ੍ਰੇਮ ਲਗੋ ਹਰ ਧੀਰ, ਹਮਰੀ ਬੇਦਨ ਹਰ ਪ੍ਰਭ ਜਾਨੋ, ਮੇਰੇ ਮਨ ਅੰਤਰ ਕੀ ਪੀਰ ਰਹਾਓ। ਮੇਰੇ ਹਰ ਪ੍ਰੀਤਮ ਕੀ ਕੋਈ ਬਾਤ ਸੁਨਾਵੈ, ਸੋ ਭਾਈ ਸੋ ਮੇਰਾ ਵੀਰ, ਮਿਲ ਮਿਲ ਸਖੀ ਗੁਣ ਕਹੋ ਮੇਰੇ ਪ੍ਰਭ ਕੇ, ਲੈ ਸਤਿਗੁਰ ਕੀ ਮਤ ਧੀਰ, ਜਨ ਨਾਨਕ ਕੀ ਹਰ ਆਸ ਪੁਜਾਵੋ, ਹਰ ਦਰਸ਼ਨ ਸ਼ਾਂਤ ਸਰੀਰ, ਹਰ ਦਰਸ਼ਨ ਸ਼ਾਂਤ ਸਰੀਰ। ਧੰਨ ਧੰਨ ਸ੍ਰੀ ਗੁਰੂ ਗ੍ਰੰਥ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਜੀ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਦੀ ਹਾਜ਼ਰੀ ਵਿੱਚ ਬੈਠੇ ਹੋਈ ਸਾਧ ਸੰਗਤ ਜੀ, ਆਓ ਫਤਿਹ ਦੀ ਸਾਂਝ ਪਾਓ ਜੀ। ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ, ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ। ਧੰਨ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਦੀ ਕਿਰਪਾ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਆਪਾਂ ਹੁਣ ਰਹਿਰਾਸ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਦੇ ਆਰੰਭ ਵਿੱਚ ਪਹੁੰਚ ਗਏ ਹੈਗੇ ਹਾਂ। Why I say ਆਰੰਭ? Because the beginning of Rehraas Sahib as per Guru Granth Sahib Ji. So Rehraas Sahib is a bit of an evolving tradition. We know that at the time of before Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj, Singhs would tend to start at, the Sikhs would tend to start at Sodar. That's why it's often called Sodar Rehraas. But there are shabads before that people read, and there's shabads afterwards with Chaupai Sahib and other dohere from Guru Gobind Singh Ji's Bani and then Anand Sahib. But these were all added by the Sangat, all added by the Guru, and has become part of our tradition. So we should read those as well, as we read today now. So today's main podi is quite a long podi, so hopefully we'll get through the podi, is the Sodar podi. So I'll read that out now and then we're going to go into it line by line. That's how Sangat Ji. Maharaj says, Sodar raag asa mahalla pehla, ik oankar sat ਗੁਰ ਪ੍ਰਸਾਦ, ਸੋਦਰ ਤੇਰਾ ਕੇਹਾ ਸੋ ਘਰ ਕੇਹਾ, ਜਿਤ ਬਹਿ ਸਰਬ ਸਮਾਲੇ, ਵਾਜੇ ਤੇਰੇ ਨਾਦ ਅਨੇਕ ਅਸੰਖਾ, ਕੇਤੇ ਤੇਰੇ ਵਾਵਣ ਹਾਰੇ, ਕੇਤੇ ਤੇਰੇ ਰਾਗ ਪਰਿਸਿਓ ਕਹੀਐ, ਕੇਤੇ ਤੇਰੇ ਗਾਵਣ ਹਾਰੇ, ਗਾਵਣ ਤੁਧਨੋ ਪਵਨ ਪਾਣੀ ਬੈ ਸੰਤਰ, ਗਾਵੈ ਰਾਜਾ ਧਰਮ ਦੁਆਰੇ, ਗਾਵਣ ਤੁਧਨੋ ਚਿਤ ਗੁਪਤ ਲਿਖ ਜਾਣਨ, ਲਿਖ ਲਿਖ ਧਰਮ ਵਿਚਾਰੇ, ਗਾਵਣ ਤੁਧਨੋ ਈਸਰ ਬ੍ਰਹਮਾ ਦੇਵੀ, ਸੋਹਣ ਤੇਰੇ ਸਦਾ ਸਵਾਰੇ, ਗਾਵਣ ਤੁਧਨੋ ਇੰਦਰ ਇੰਦਰਾਸਣ ਬੈਠੇ, ਦੇਵਤਿਆ ਦਰ ਨਾਲੇ, ਗਾਵਣ ਤੁਧਨੋ ਸਿੱਧ ਸਮਾਧੀ ਅੰਦਰ, ਗਾਵਣ ਤੁਧਨੋ ਸਾਧ ਵਿਚਾਰੇ, ਗਾਵਣ ਤੁਧਨੋ ਜਤੀ ਸਤੀ ਸੰਤੋਖੀ, ਗਾਵਣ ਤੁਧਨੋ ਵੀਰ ਕਰਾਰੇ, ਗਾਵਣ ਤੁਧਨੋ ਪੰਡਿਤ ਪੜਨ ਰਖੀਸਰ, ਜੁਗ ਜੁਗ ਵੇਦਾ ਨਾਲੇ, ਗਾਵਣ ਤੁਧਨੋ ਮੋਹਣੀਆਂ ਮਨ ਮੋਹਣ, ਸੁਰਗ ਮੱਛ ਪਿਆਲੇ, ਗਾਵਣ ਤੁਧਨੋ ਰਤਨ ਉਪਾਏ ਤੇਰੇ, 68 ਤੀਰਥ ਨਾਲੇ, ਗਾਵਨ ਤੁਧਨੋ ਜੋਧ ਮਹਾਬਲ ਸੂਰਾ, ਗਾਵਨ ਤੁਧਨੋ ਖਾਣੀ ਚਾਰੇ, ਗਾਵਨ ਤੁਧਨੋ ਖੰਡ ਮੰਡਲ ਬ੍ਰਹਮੰਡਾ, ਕਰ ਕਰ ਰੱਖੇ ਤੇਰੇ ਧਾਰੇ, ਸਈ ਤੁਧਨੋ ਗਾਵਨ ਜੋਤ ਦੁਭਾਵਨ, ਰਤੇ ਤੇਰੇ ਭਗਤ ਰਸਾਲੇ, ਹੋਰ ਕੇਤੇ ਤੁਧਨੋ ਗਾਵਨ, ਸੇ ਮੈਂ ਚਿਤਨਾ ਆਵਨ, ਨਾਨਕ ਕਿਆ ਵਿਚਾਰੇ, ਸੋਈ ਸੋਈ ਸਦਾ ਸਚ ਸਾਹਿਬ, ਸਾਚਾ ਸਾਚੀ ਨਾਈ, ਹੈ ਭੀ ਹੋਸੀ ਜਾਏ ਨਾ ਜਾਸੀ, ਰਚਨਾ ਜਿਨ ਰਚਾਈ, ਰੰਗੀ ਰੰਗੀ ਭਾਤੀ ਕਰ ਕਰ ਜਿਨਸੀ, ਮਾਇਆ ਜਿਨ ਉਪਾਈ, ਕਰ ਕਰ ਦੇਖੈ ਕੀਤਾ ਆਪਣਾ, ਜਿਉ ਤਿਸ ਦੀ ਵਡਿਆਈ, ਜੋ ਤਿਸ ਭਾਵੈ ਸੋਈ ਕਰਸੀ, ਫਿਰ ਹੁਕਮ ਨਾ ਕਰਨਾ ਜਾਈ, ਸੋ ਪਾਤ ਸਾਹੋ ਸਾਹਾ ਪਤ ਸਾਹਿਬ, ਨਾਨਕ ਰਹਿਣ ਰਜਾਈ। ਸੋ ਦਰ ਰਾਗ ਆਸਾ ਮਹੱਲਾ ਪਹਿਲਾ। Maharaj says, so dar. So, and then there's two words. Don't make it into one word because people write it S-O-D-A-R. So they think it's one word. It's so dar. Dar means door. So that door. We'll get to that in a second. Maharaj says, raag asa mahalla pehla. So it's in the raag, and Maharaj is saying, mahalla pehla, Guna Dev Ji Maharaj written it. Ik oankar sat gur prasad. This is the most commonly used mangal in Guru Granth Sahib Ji Maharaj. And basically Maharaj is saying, Ik oankar, the one who created everything with just one word, the one who is creating, sustaining and destroying, and the one whom we come from, and the one who we're going to go back to, that is an ik. They say a number. And they say that this is the truth. The Vaheguru is Satya. Satya here doesn't mean true. It means Satya means truth. This is the truth. Truth meaning the actual reality. If everything else is fake, apart from the truth, then Akal Purakh is the only truth. That one being is the only truth. This is Satya. Sehari hegi tatte deote. That means that it's a Satya. It's not written Satya, but it's actually Satya, as in eternal truth, reality. This truth, reality, how are we going to find it? Obviously, you need some kind of person to teach you it. And some person to bless you with that understanding. It's not just educational gyan, it's Atma gyan, spiritual gyan. Spiritual knowledge will only be coming by the Guru's grace. So Maharaj says, Sat Gur Prasad. This truth will be achieved by the Guru's grace, Guru Sahib's Kirpa. It's not going to be something that we're going to be able to get from just listening to Katha. This is just the listening part. To know something is more than to listen to it. That happens by the Guru's grace. The Sat Gur Prasad. Maharaj says that this is a Katha about Sodar. And Sodar again comes again in the first line. Maharaj says, Sodar tera keha, so kar keha, jit beh sarab samale. Now, this door of Vaheguru, Sodar, this shabad comes up in Guru Granth Sahib Ji effectively 3 times. It comes in Japji Sahib, it then comes in Rehraas Sahib, then it comes also in Raag Asa. In Guru Granth Sahib Ji is 31 sections of 31 rags, and in Raag Asa this shabad comes again. So obviously 3 times in Guru Granth Sahib Ji, twice in a 6th day, morning and evening. So it's an important shabad. And in Japji Sahib there are slight differences, because you know what happens, sometimes when you're doing Bani for memory, you can go the wrong way. So there are slight differences between the one in Japji Sahib and the one in Rehraas Sahib. The one in Rehraas Sahib and the one in actually Raag Asa are very similar. Yeah, there's a slight difference. The beginning has a full from Ik Oankar to Gur Prasad, and not just Ik Oankar Sat Gur Prasad. So it has that in the Raag Asa. But really those two are the same. So there's kind of 2 main versions. And some differences, for example, is in this one there'll be more Todano than there is in Japji Sahib. Now a Sikh said to me once, he goes, you know what's beautiful about that Todano that comes in Rehraas Sahib? Is because in the morning you've already woken up and done your Simran. You said Vaheguru, Vaheguru, Tuhi, 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 Tuhi. You've done Japji Sahib, then you're going to do Jap Sahib, Sraiye, Chaupai, Anand Sahib. So therefore you're going to have a lot of focus on Vaheguru. But during the rest of the day, when you go to work, when you go to deal with your kids, then your focus is going to go away from Vaheguru, because the world is like that. The world will pull you away from Vaheguru. Then in the evening, to get yourself back into focus upon Vaheguru, when you do Rehraas Sahib, it's a bit like doing Simran, because you're saying Todano, Todano, you. Throughout that Sodar, you are saying Todano. So it gets your focus back to Vaheguru. And at the end of it, Maharaj says, So Paatth Saha, Paatth Sahib. Not Paatth Sahib, Paatth Sahib. Why is that? Because you know what's going to happen is, when we get to the end of a shabad, you could go either way. What I mean by the end of this shabad, some people find themselves in the morning in Rehraas Sahib. They've got to the end of Sodar Paudi, and instead of going into the next Paudi of Japji Sahib, they end up saying, Asa Mahalla Pehla, Sun Vadda. Okay, so and also, people end up going from this Paudi into Japji Sahib, because they're not concentrating, yeah? So Maharaj has made slight differences to make us concentrate, So when we're doing Rehraas Sahib, we keep reminding ourselves, no, it's different. We're doing Sodar, Rehraas Sahib. And then we're doing Japji Sahib, we remember now we're doing Japji Sahib, we're going to go on to the end of Japji Sahib. Bani can't karni hai, and if it was exactly the same, then the mind is a funny thing, it'd go either way. The slight differences help us. Maharaj Ji Kirpa. So, in this one, Dar. Maharaj saying, so dar tera keha. Oh, tera meaning Vaheguru, your door. What is that door of yours like? So dar tera keha. So kar keha. What is the house of yours like? Jit beh, where you sit and take care of everything. Now, there is a bit of a background to this. This body that comes up in Sodar, people say that the one in Japji Sahib, Guru Nanak Dev Ji is talking to the Siddhs and the Yogis. But this one, they're not talking to Siddhs and Yogis. What happens is that when they go and get their enlightenment, if everybody knows the story, Maharaj is working in Sultanpur, okay, and they're working as a Pandari. They're working in a store, and they're living they're married, they've got kids, and they will move to that pind because Mata Bibi Nanaki, had been married, and her husband lived in that pind that they were living in, and therefore they'd also moved there, got a job, then they got married, then they had kids. Both Baba Sri Chand, Baba Lakshmi Chand were already born that time. Maharaj used to wake up in the morning, go down to the riverside, do Ishnan. Now if anybody's ever been into river, you know it's freezing cold, so it wakes you right up. Then we get up there in Amrit Vela and they would do Simran by the side of the river. And we know the story. They were about 27 years old. They went into the river and they didn't come back out. And in the morning, they didn't turn up to work. And they were like, where is Nanak? Guru Nanak Dev Ji, they weren't Guru at that time to the world, but they were very beloved. The people of that place loved Guru Nanak Dev Ji Maharaj. And when Guruji doesn't show up to work, they go looking for him and they find all of his clothes by the riverside and there is no Nanak to be seen. And they start waiting and they start looking in the river. They get people to swimmers to dive in and have a look if his body is there. And Guru Maharaj is not seen for 3 days. But when they come out after 3 days, everybody's very surprised. And this body is supposed to be a conversation when they go to Bibi Nanaki's house. Because Bibi Nanaki, and this is what is given, is that Bibi Nanaki had actually never believed that Guru Nanak Dev Ji was dead. People have said, your brother's passed away now. He was in the river, he must have drowned. People were doing absos. The absos means to come and do sorrow, that share the sorrow that somebody has died. But Bibi Nanaki said, no, my brother cannot be dying. He said he cannot drown. He's come here to save people who are drowning. How can he drown? If you look at people who are lifeguards, they're much better at swimming than everybody else. The ones that are meant to save people, they cannot drown. That's their skill. She said, how can my brother drown? हो ही नहीं सकता. वो तो डुबन वाले लोगों को बचाने वास्ते आया. So he can't drown. And what she did is, every day she would send a servant to Riverside with the clothes of Guru Nanak Dev Ji. So obviously people had brought the clothes back. She gave it to the servant. She goes, wait here. He'll come out. Every day the servant would wait there for Guru Nanak Dev Ji to come out. And he would come home in the evening, and then again in the morning he was there again. And when Maharaj comes out, he matha takes to Maharaj, and he goes, your sister has been waiting for you. Todi sister sadi bahut chinta si. Where are you? And then he takes him to Mataji, to Bibi Nanaki, and at that point, Bibi Nanaki says, where were you? And Maharaj says, I was at Sachkhand. She said, what was it like? And Maharaj says, So dar tera keha, so kar keha, jit beh sarv saman. He goes, what is that place like? So this is a conversation between Mata Nanaki, Bibi Nanaki, and her brother, Guru Nanak Dev Ji. Now Guru Nanak Dev Ji has been Sanmukh to Vaheguru. They've been to Sachkhand, seen Vaheguru, been given the hukum to go into the world and spread Naam. They've been given the Gur Gaddi. They've been given the Mahamantra from Ikko Onkar to Gur Prasad. And then they're told to go out into the world and spread Naam. And this conversation takes place between a brother and a sister, but also between the Guru and his first Sikh. This is the very first Sikh. Mata Bibi Nanaki is the very first Sikh as well. It's Sikha waste bahut garv wali gal hegi hai. Very good thing to be proud of, that the very first Sikh was actually a woman. In Bani, you'll often see that Guru Maharaj is saying that even the Shabad we read now before going to Mahalla Chautha, Maharaj says, Mere har pritam ki koi baat sunave so bhai so mera beer. Dekho Mataji is saying, if somebody can tell me about my beloved Vaheguru, he is my brother, he is my hero. Here, her brothers come back to tell her about Vaheguru. And then Maharaj says, Mele mele sakhi gun kaho mere prabh ke. Le satgur ki matatir. Oh my sisters, let us get together and let us talk about the greatness of our Vaheguru. So Bani often has shabads that are sung from a female point of view. That we are the bride and he is the husband Lord, because in a way we're following Bibi Nanaki ji. We're all that women for the husband Lord. And Guru Maharaj, he's our brother, he's our Lord, he's our master, he's everything to us. Yeah? Tu mera pita, tu hai mera mata, tu mera bandhap, tu mera prata, tu mera rakha, sabni thai. Tapo ke ha kada jiyo. You're everything to us. So Maharaj here is teaching us as well. When we're searching for Vaheguru, what is he like? What is that place where he sits? What is that house? What is the door to his house? And what is the house like itself? Now door and house are used in Bani quite a lot. Because even if you want to come to the house, you have to go through the door. So people are always asking, how do I get inside the door? Because you want to go to the house, so you need to know what the door is like, you need to know what the house is like. Yeah? And I remember one person describing that there's a couple of meanings of door. I'll get to this one. The first door you get is the door to Sachkhand itself, which is what this Shabad is primarily about. Yeah? That the door to getting into where Vaheguru actually sits. Yeah? Some people call it heaven, some people call it Amarpuri, the eternal place. But the point is, what is it place like? And Sachkhand Vasai Nirankar. Bani says that Vaheguru is there, the Lord that cannot be seen, the Lord that has no form, he has no form whatsoever, but he is there present. Also, Kabir ji talks about this door, and they say, Kabir, mohe marne ka chao hai. Kabir ji, he says, I want to die. Mohe marne ka chao hai, maro ta har ke dwar. But if I die, let me die at God's door. Then he says something very beautiful. Kabir ji says, mat har pooche kaun hai, pare hamare bar. They say, I really want to die, but let me die, excuse me, at God's door. But then one thing he says, let this not happen, that I get to God's door, I die there, and then God opens the door, looks down, sees my dead body lying there, and says, who is this person dead at my door? Let it be that God opens that door, sees me dying there, sees that I've died. What does that mean to die at God's door? That when we are going to die, when we've got our ego, let me give my ego to God. Let me die for Him. Let me not die for myself. Let me not die live in my ego. Let me die by giving my ego to Vaheguru. But when He opens the door and He looks down, let Him say, oh, is Kabir lying here dead? Let it not be that Vaheguru says, Pata nahi kaun hai, mere bahar aake mar gaya. Let Him have a relationship with me. Let me have a relationship with Him. Let us know each other. So while we are alive, our aim of saying Vaheguru, 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 is that Vaheguru knows us because we keep calling Him. In Bani, Namdev ji gives an example of when he speaks to God. People say that, Bani is like instructions. Yes, Bani is instructions. But Bani is also the conversation between a Sikh and Vaheguru. In this one Shabad is actually just the exact conversation that Namdev ji had with God written down. Namdev ji is saying to Vaheguru, he's been calling for him, and Vaheguru is when he's calling him, it's a bit like knocking at the door. Yeah? He's knocking at the door, saying, Vaheguru, 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 let me through this door and let me into your house. And Maharaj says, Akal Purakh says to Namdev ji, Tu kun re. They hear someone calling their name and they go, Kaun hai? Tu kun re. Who are you knocking at my door? Namdev ji says, Hoji? Me? Are you asking me who I am? Imagine, the words are not the words of Namdev ji, the first sentence. The first sentence is Vaheguru saying to Namdev ji, Tu kun re. Tu kaun hai? Namdev ji says, Hoji? Are you asking me who I am? not in a rude way. He's making sure that Vaheguru is talking to him, not to anybody else. He's heard this voice saying, Tu kon re? And he says, Honji, me? And Vaheguru says, Nama? Now dekho, what's happened here is, Vaheguru says, is that you, Nama? Vaheguruji knows Nama. Vaheguruji has not said, oh, who are you? Yes, you. Who are you? He said, Nama, is that you? Just like a parent, even if a child is upstairs and you're downstairs, Charles wakes up and starts running around, and you say, who's that? You might have a couple of kids, and the kid goes, who, me? And you say, oh, straight away you know which one it is. Because you know them really well. Namdev ji here is a pyara of Vaheguru. Namdev ji knows Vaheguru, and Vaheguru knows Namdev ji. Namdev ji says, Honji. Akal Purakh says, Nama? And he goes, no, tu. And he goes, Maji? Me? He goes, Nama? He goes, Hoji. Yes, it's me. First Maharaj says, Nama? Is it you? And he says, first he says, me? Vaheguru says, Nama? He goes, yes, it's me. Hoji. It's me. Beautiful conversation between God and his Sikh. Namdev ji is a disciple, is somebody who's sold his mind to Akal Purakh. In the same way here, Kabir ji is saying, when I die, let me die at God's door, but let God not say, Kaun hai bechara marya bane baar. Yeah? Let God know me and let me know God. So the door is important. And Maharaj tells us about that door. So when we're thinking about this door, let us think about what happens at that door, and let us knock to say, Maharaj, when I knock at that door, you know who I am. But another way of understanding door is actually Dasam Dwar. How are we going to go to the door of Vaheguru? Maharaj tells us, we just went through Anand Sahib, that 9 dware paragat kiye, 10waं gupt rakhaya. Akal Purakh has created his body with 9 visible doors, and the Akal Purakh has created a 10th door which is invisible. It's there, but it's not visible. Even if you got a microscope, you can't see this door. And this door is right here. And this door is the door to enlightenment. This is the door which we're going to, Maharaj, di kirpa nal, with Guru Sahib's kirpa, with their blessings, this door will open, not in the physical sense, because if it opens, it will become visible. It doesn't physically open that there's a hole in your head, but when it opens, we can see Vaheguru, we can experience Vaheguru. And this is what a Sikh's job is, to actually activate this 10th door by going to Guru Sahib and asking for Guru Sahib's kirpa. Because Maharaj says, 9 dware pargat kiye, 10waं gupt rakhaya, Guru dware lai pavni, ek na 10waं dwar dikhaya. Those that come to the Guru's door with love, some of them, with Guru Sahib's kirpa, get to see the Dasam Dwar. And this Dasam Dwar allows us to then experience Akal Purakh inside us. So take the same body, such a khand vasai nirankar, and now say, when we spiritually enlighten ourselves with kirpa, when we get to such khand, the level of such, the level of shabad, then vasai nirankar. Nirankar comes to sit inside us. In our Dasam Dwar, Nirankar becomes Paragat, and we get to be at that door. Because the mind itself, the Dasam Dwar itself, becomes a door to Vaheguru. And there's a shabad about this. Maru Mahalla Pehla. Guru Nanak Ji Maharaj goes through this and they go, Aape aap upaye nirala, sacha than kiyo dayala, paun pani agni ka bandhan, kaya kot rachayda. The Akal Purakh has made his home. He's made his real home. How? He's taken paun pani and basantar. He's taken water, he's taken air and fire, these 3 elements, and he's created the body with these 3 elements. These 3 elements of the Akal Purakh is created for us. Maharaj says, Naukar thape thapanahare, dasve vasa alak apare, sayar sapat pare, jal nirmal, gurmukh mail na laida. Maharaj says, now he's created his home, he's created this body, he creates 9 holes of this body, and in the 10th, he sits himself. So that Sodar, so that being, he sits inside us. Because andar hi hai. Maharaj says to us in Bani, that Nonid Amrit Prabh ka naam, Dehi mein iska bisram. It's in the body. So when we look at the Sodar body, we can say this to mean, Maharaj, when I spiritually get to the level where I can get to access to that door and go through that door into you, then this is what's going to be happening in that door when we go to Sachkhand. There's one more meaning of door, Dware. This is a Gurdwara, the Guru's door. Maharaj says in Bani, Guru Dware hoye soji paisi. When we go through the Guru's door, here, the meaning of the word door is to go through something. Guru Dware hoye soji paisi. Through the Guru, I get understanding. So we come to Gurdwara, actually, we're walking through the door into his house, but the point of coming here is that the Guru's teachings, they become a portal for us. The Guru's Updesh becomes a portal, and as we go through that portal, we can get joined to Vaheguru. The Shabad becomes our door to God. Kadiye Sabad Sachi Taksal. The real Taksal, the real mint is a Saaz Sangat. And here, we can create the Shabad inside us. The Shabad becomes a door for us. Because Guru Dwara hoye soji paisi, et dware toye hacha hoesi. By going through this door, we will become purified. And we know that what it means to be purified is to meet Vaheguru. Because as we become purified, then Akal Purakh themselves is Paragat inside us. So, the way to understand this in this sense is that Guru Sahib is describing what happens in Sachkhand, and if we recreate that here, if we start to do Simran, if we start to recreate the Gurdwara as Sachkhand, because Maharaj says, Bhai Gurdasi says, Saad Sangat Sachkhand hai. In Saad Sangat, if we start to recreate what happens in Sachkhand, what's going to be described to us now, then actually we can get to heaven right here through this Dasam Dwar here. This door here can become the portal with the Shabad and get us to Sachkhand right here. So Maharaj is saying to us that Akal Purakh Vaheguru, So dar tera keha, so kar keha, jit beh sarv samale. Where are you, Akal Purakh? What is your door like? What is your home like? Where you look after the entire world. And Maharaj says then, they describe it to Bibi Nanaki. What happens? They say, Vaje tere naad anek asankha, kete tere vavanahare. Vaje, here Vaje means musical instruments. Like this Vaja here. We call it a Vaja, but it's actually a harmonium, a German instrument. It's not a traditional Sikh instrument. But an instrument that makes music is called a Vaje. Vaje tere naad. Akal Purakh, there's many of your instruments, and all those instruments, they play music. Naad. Naad means sound, music. Anek asankha. There's not just one of these musical instruments making music. There's anek asankha. Anek means millions of different times. Asank means uncountable. Uncountable amount of instruments in Sachkhand are playing music. And all these instruments, Maharaj says, Kete tere vavanahare. What's a vavanahare? Is somebody who plays that musical instrument. So you've got the Vajana Wala. There's so many people there who are playing instruments, and there's so many instruments there making so many types of beautiful music. So imagine the most amazing Kirtan Darbar. Sometimes, nowadays we normally have like 2 people playing this. But if you go to a Raag Darbar, then you might have like, for example, Badu Sahib do this really well. They have people, they have like 4 or 5 tablas. They'll have like 6, 7 dilrubas. They'll have so many different types of people playing music together, and that becomes like an orchestra. And when you sit in that environment, with all that sound coming out of so many different instruments, you really feel like you are in Sachkhand. Because Sachkhand is like that. There's many, many instruments playing there. And Maharaj says that in the Akal Purakh's place, there's many people playing instruments, but also Maharaj says, Kete tere raag parisyo kahi hai, kete tere gavanahare. Maharaj says, so many types of rags. There are so many different musical melodies that people are playing in there. And then what is that parisyo kahi hai? For us, everything in Bani starts with a rag. The Kirtani knows what naad to play in. They can choose the instrument. Then comes the Shabad itself. Because this music is like the boat. And on top of that boat sits the Shabad itself. And it transports us to Sachkhand. So Maharaj is saying, in heaven is rag. Now Saaz Sangat ji, if in heaven there is rag, if in heaven there are so many different instruments, why don't we recreate that here? That's what it means to recreate heaven. If we have so many musical instruments, if we have so many different rags. Often many people nowadays have never even heard rag. They're not used to it, they're used to Bollywood music. Some people take a tune from Bollywood, they then put a Shabad to it, and you're sitting there in the darbar, somebody's singing a shabad, and what happens? That song comes into your head. That movie song that they've ripped the shabad, the tune from, it comes into your head, and you start singing that movie tune. Yeah? Because all they've done is they're not singing it in raag, they're taking a movie tune, and then they adapt the shabad to it. And sometimes the shabad doesn't quite fit, so they have to sing some bits quickly, they have to sing some bits slowly just to make it fit. But Guru Maharaj already given us the ultimate vidya of raag. Now, Baba Iqbal Singh from Badu Sahib is actually in UK right now. Met them the other day, and what they told me, I already knew, but they were so proud of this, they were so happy that they've actually done the whole of Guru Granth Sahib Ji in raag. In the raag that the shabad is written in, using the students of Badu Sahib, for 6 years it took them, they actually recorded the whole of Guru Granth Sahib Ji in raag. So it's like a Sehaj part, but in raag. It's a Sehaj Kirtan part. And you can go on YouTube and you can listen to the entire Guru Granth Sahib Ji in raag. So I was saying, this has never been done before. Many shabads you never ever heard in the actual raag they're written in. But now, for Maharaj Ji Kirpa, through that environment, we've now got that a resource. If you ever hear a shabad, you like that shabad, you can now go in there, find the find that shabad, listen to it in raag. In the raag it was meant to be written in, what they call that is title raag. Yeah, most people call it title raag. In the raag that it was meant to be sung in. So Maharaj tells us that actually the shabad was meant to be sung in raag. And if you look at our gurus, they were experts in raag. Guru Arjan Dev Ji Maharaj invented the saranda, an instrument they invented. Guru Har Gobind Sahib Ji Maharaj invented the taus. Taus looks like a peacock, it's a very beautiful instrument. Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj invented the dilruba, a smaller version of the taus. If you don't know what these instruments are, what a shame. What a shame if you don't even know what they sound like. And then Maharaj, Guru Tegh Bahar Ji Maharaj, although they spent so many years underground meditating, they actually made a whole raag, raag Jai Jaivanti. This raag is now used in India a lot, but Guru Tegh Bahar Ji actually invented that raag. But when we say invented, we have to be careful about that word. They didn't invent anything. How rags came about on this earth is that the rishis and the munis, they would hear music on Haj Shabad. They would get transported to Sachkhand to their meditation, and they would hear music in Sachkhand. And that music they heard in Sachkhand, they wrote it down. They tried to write down that music so they could listen to that music again. And this is where raag came from. Raag is actually from Sachkhand. Because in Sachkhand, Maharaj already told us, Kete tere raag parisyo kahiye, kete tere gavan hare. So therefore in Sachkhand there are already rags. And all Guru Maharaj has done is brought those rags down to us. We're playing music in raag that is actually music from heaven. And Guru Maharaj is giving us an experience of heaven. If you look at our Vaheguru course, which is a course that we did, which is a 14-week course, we actually spent 2.5 hours learning about raag, what it means. If you want to find out more, you can go on YouTube, type in the Vaheguru course and raag, and you will get to learn about it for 2.5 hours. We play music in there to get you to experience that raag actually has an emotion. Different rags create different emotions. Some rags are full of bairag. They make you feel separate from the world. They make you feel like I should fall in love with Vaheguru. Some rags are very happy, like ramkali. They make you feel like you're full of happiness. Some rags are very expecting. They create that desire inside you, like raag asa. It creates a desire. Why? Because you're going to talk about Vaheguru's door. You better get some desire inside you so you can go and see that door. And the only way to see that door is to do what the raag is, what the shabad is telling you to do, to start singing. So Maharaj talks about that. And what is this raag parisyo kahiye? The parisyo kahiye are the families of the rags. We haven't got much time to go through this, but the rags actually come in families. There's the husband, he's got 6 wives and they've got 8 kids. Each rag, there's male rags, then there's female rags, the raginis, that are the families of the rags, and they've got children, 8 of them. And this is given in Rag Mala at the end of Guru Granth Sahib Ji. Each rag is described, the wives of the rag, 6 wives, and then also Maharaj gives the 8 children of each rag, of the 2 of them. So this system, at the end of Guru Granth Sahib Ji, Maharaj says, Khast rag un gaye, sang rag nitis, Sabe putra ragan ke 18 10 20. This is how Guru Granth Sahib Ji finishes with Ragmala. What that's saying to you is that there's Kast Rag, 6 rags that have been given. Sang Ragni 30. Along with them, the 30 wives, because 6 times 5 is 30. Each one has got 6. Sorry, each one has got 5 wives. So there's 36 in total. And then Maharaj says, Sabe putan ragan ke 18 10 20. 18 and 10 and 20, those are the amount of children, i.e. 48, that you get if each rag, 6 of them, have 8 children each. And what does that whole thing add up to? 84. The 6 rags, the 30 raginis, and the 48 children add up to 84. So the hidden code there is 84 lakh June. That we've come into this human life after 8.4 million lives. So Maharaj says, Kete tere gavan hari. There's many people who sing of you, Vaheguru, in rag. There are many rags and their families, and there's many people that sing of you in rag. Then Maharaj says, Gavan tudno pavan pani baisantar gave raja taram dware. Maharaj says, O Vaheguru, there in Sachkhand, even the wind, the water and fire sing of you. Pavan is wind, Pani is water, and Baisantar is fire. Gave Raja Taram Dware. That these Devte that represents these 3 beings, they sing of you, Vaheguru. Pani Devta, Pawan Devta, Baisantar Devta, they sing of you there. And also the other Devta, the other being, the angelic being, who is Taram Raj. Taram Raj does scare us, but actually he's a Devta. He's not a demon. He's actually a Devta, and he's been given a job as well. And his job is to judge us. His job is to look at that book which comes to him, and look at that book of each one of us and decide what's going to happen to us next. He's got a job as well. Now some people he can't touch. The people that get blessed with Guru Sahib's kirpa, then Taram Raj does not trouble them. He doesn't bother looking at their account. He goes, you're free to go in, because Guru Sahib is vouched for you. Yeah? He judges. Maharaj talks about this next. They say that Gavana Tudano Chit Gupta Lik Janan Lik Lik Taram Bichare. They say what happens then? That even Chittagupt. Now some people think of these as 2 beings, one that sits on each shoulder and records everything that you think and records everything that you're saying. But actually, if you look at the Itihas, Chittagupt was created from the Chit of Vishnu, and then he, because he's a Gupt, he's hidden, in which case he's Chittagupt. He came from Chit and he's Gupt. Because he doesn't have a mother or a father. He's created from Chit, from consciousness. And what does he do? He writes down everything that we're thinking, everything that we do, and also he writes down everything that we say. Man, bach, karam. Our actions, our thoughts, and our words, these all get recorded. Now some people say, well, if I said something, it doesn't matter, is it? But our words have power. Because Maharaj says, Karam Khand ki bani jot. The people that get to Karam Khand, even their words end up having power. So our words do get recorded. So we should be careful what we're saying. Sometimes someone says something about somebody, it might not be true, they heard some rumor, and you end up ruining that person's life. So we should be careful what we're thinking, what we're saying, and also what we're doing. These are the things to bring into account. And Maharaj says that Chitta Gupta Lik Janan. They know everything and they write it down. Lik Taram Bichare. What they write down, Taram Raj then does bichar on it. Bichar means to contemplate, to basically judge us based upon the account of Chittagupta. Then Maharaj says, Gavan Tudno Isar Brahma Devi Sohan Tere Sada Savare. Isar here is Shiva. Brahma here is actually Brahma himself. And Maharaj says, Gavan Tudno Isar Brahma Devi. So the Brahma is the creator, Shiva is the destroyer. So the creator and the destroyer are singing of you, Vaheguru. And all the Devi Devti are singing of you as well, Vaheguru. Sohan Tere Sada Savare. These Devis, they're very beautiful. So they are Sohan. Sohan means beautiful. Sohan Tere Sada Savare. You've made them beautiful and you've made them Savare Hoye. Savare Hoye means that they're very jeweled. They've got a lot of jewelry on the outside. Yeah. So when you look at a Devi Devta, they're like ultimate bling and ultimate beauty. which is obviously why a lot of people end up worshipping them. They got confused by them. They started thinking, I should worship this Devi. But no. Even the Devi Devte, even Brahma, even Shiva, who do get worshipped in India, Maharaj says don't get confused about worshipping them. Because who do they worship? They sing of Vaheguru. So why not sing of the one that they sing of? Think about it. Maharaj is telling us, they sing of him, so therefore you sing of him as well. Then you could transcend them. Maharaj is trying to get us to become a Devta. Balehari Gure Apane Deohari Sadvar Jin Manas Te Devte Kiye Kartana Lagivar. Maharaj says he make you into a Devta. Why? You will start doing what a Devte do. You will start singing of the one that they sing about. Maharaj carries on the next shabad. They said that when they went to Sachkhand, they saw all these beings singing of Vaheguru. Maharaj says, Gavan Tudno Indra Indrasan Baithe Devte Dar Nale. Maharaj says, Indra, the king of Devi Devte, he sings of you as well, Vaheguru. Where does he sit? On his Indrasan. Indrasan means his asan. Indra the asan means his throne, where he rules over the Devi Devte. And he sings of you, alongside him sing of you, Vaheguru, all the Devi Devte that come to the court. Here the Dar means the court of Indra. He's got his court. He's got many people that are in his court, like the other Devi Devte. They also sing of you, Vaheguru. The whole of that Devi Devte, the Swarg Log, they all sing of you, Vaheguru. Devteya Darnali. Maharaj says, Gavan Tudno Sid Samadhi Andar Gavan Tudno Saad Bichare. They say, Vaheguru, who sings of you also? The Siddhs. The Siddhs are the very spiritual people of India, and they sit in their Samadhi. Samadhi means in deep contemplation. While they're sitting in Samadhi, they're famous for sitting in Samadhi for hundreds of years. They won't just sit just for 10 minutes like some of us do, like myself. They will sit for years. Baiki Aramnal, living off air, they would meditate for so long. Santok Sar, which is right next to Harmandir Sahib, that was based upon when they're digging down to make this pool of water, they found this person in there who was a Siddh, and he was called Santok. And he'd done so much yoga that he was underground, they buried him. And he was living underground in Samadhi, and he was waiting to find Guru Nanak Dev Ji. When they woke him up, he said, is it the time of Guru Nanak Dev Ji now? They said, actually, well, it is Guru Nanak Dev Ji's time, but it's now Guru Arjan Dev Ji Maharaj. And he ran over to Guru Arjan Dev Ji Maharaj, matha teked, and he said, Maharaj, bless me with Amrit. Make me a Sikh. Sur nar munjan Amrit khoje. So Amrit kurte paya. We've had people today who have taken Amrit as well, that are not even Punjabi. The world is looking for this Amrit. Santok Das, he was looking for Amrit. The Siddhs, all these yogis, they dream of this Amrit as well, that the Guru gives to us now in the form of Panj Pyara Khande Bate da Amrit. It's available to us now as well. So Maharaj says that these Siddhs, they sit in Samadhi and they think of you, Vaheguru, Gavan Tudno Saad Bichare. And the sadhus that do a lot of bichar, they do a lot of contemplation. The modern sadhus that do bichar, you might say are the Buddhists. They do a lot of contemplation, a lot of debates. And even they sing of you, Vaheguru. The ones that get there. Not the ones that don't get there, the ones that get to Sachkhand. So what that means is in Sachkhand, there are Siddhs, there are yogis. It's not for us to become a Hankari and say only a Sikh gets to Sachkhand. I've heard people say this as well. No. In Sachkhand, these people who sing of Vaheguru have got there. And they're sitting over there and they haven't stopped singing. They didn't get to Sachkhand, thought, Sir, main pahunch gaya, hun main beh jawan. And enough singing of Vaheguru, might as well stop now. No. Maharaj says, Madho, jal ki pyas na jaye. Oh Vaheguru, the thirst for this singing of you does not go. The people that get into Sachkhand, they've got so much pyas, like we said in the beginning Shabad, Har darsan ko mera man bahut tapta hai, jo trikha vant bin neer. They say, I thirst for your darshan so much, Vaheguru, like a thirsty person for water. But when they get his darshan, they don't just say, well, I'm satiated now, bas, aur kuch nahi karna. No, they carry on singing, Madho jal ki pyas na jaye. Say, Vaheguru, I'm not losing my thirst now. I keep on singing more and more about you. And Maharaj carries on going. They say, Gavan Tudno Jati Sati Santokhi, Gavan Tudno Veer Karare. Oh Vaheguru, there in Sachkhand, there are people that are called Jatis. A Jati is a person who's conquered their passions. Somebody who's in effectively they used to call these people celibate. That these people would not get married, they would control themselves and they would stay celibate. And there are many, many Panths in this world even now that say that celibacy is a good thing. Maharaj says, Jatis that get there, they sing of you as well. Lakshman, for example, the brother of Ram, was a famous Jati. He wouldn't get married. Ram ji got married to Sita, but Lakshman never got married. In fact, one of the fights, what happened with Ravan was because his sister, Ravan's sister, wanted to marry Lakshman. And Lakshman said no. And in this argument, she tried to entice him. He ended up chopping her nose off. And she got very annoyed. So, Jati, these people are celibate. And in Bhai Gurdas, he tells us, Eka nari jati hoye, par nari ti pain vakhane. They say for a Sikh, if you want to become a Jati, you don't have to become celibate. Married to one lady, you're still a celibate. Eka nari jati hoye, par nari ti pain vakhane. That your other, and anybody else who's not that wife of yours, then you see her as a ti, a daughter, or a sister, pan. You never look upon her in that bad eye. Even the eyes needs to be sorted out. So Maharaj is telling us that Jati and a Sati. What is a Sati? A Sati is somebody who lives in line with their values. Whatever bachan they say, Jo main kehta, main karna hi hai. And they almost become, the translation in English is give fanatics. Why are they fanatics? Because they want to live exactly by the letter of the law they've been given. Today, what you see in ISIS, these people that are living there, that want to live exactly by what they've heard is the law of the Quran, not by the spirit, but by the letter. These people are effectively satis. But in India, because the law was not fanatical like that, but some of the laws of Manu are actually quite bad as well. Those laws, the people that live by the laws become sati. And an example that was given in the Granth when I was reading the arth of this is of Dasrath. Dasrath was called a sati. Why was he called a sati? Because Dasrath was the father of Ram, and he had planned for his son Ram to become the king. But what had happened is that he'd given once to he had 3 wives. The youngest wife had saved his life once when he'd come injured from battle. She'd nursed him back to life, and he'd said to her, I give you 2 boons, 2 wishes. She said, I'll ask for them later on. Halle mainu kuch cheez hi lod nahi hegi. I don't need anything right now, I'll ask you later on. And she had been influenced by her maid that when Ram was going to become the king, and she had a son as well, she was the youngest wife. The eldest wife was going to get her son was Ram, and this youngest wife decided that she is going to go to the king on the advice of her maid and say to him, you remember those 2 boons you gave me? I want them now. And what did she ask for? She said, make my son Paatth into the king, and also, that's where the word Paatth comes from, that he became the king of India, and also send away Ram into exile for 14 years. Any sensible person would have said, no, that's a crazy idea. I gave you 2 boons, but I didn't say to you, just ask for any crazy stuff. I expected something normal. I'm not going to break my kingdom apart because of those 2 boons. But no, he was fanatical about his 2 things as well. And so what did he do? He did that. He sent Ram away to Banvas, and he made Paatth into the king. And actually, because of his heartbreak of what he done, he died himself. So these are the satis of this world. They end up living that bachan too far. They don't realize that in the world, you have to be a bit flexible as well. Jati, Sati, Santokhi. The Santokhis are the people that say, I'm very content, I'm very happy with what I have. But unfortunately, it's not people that are actually happy all the time. There's a sect of people called Santokhis. They say, we are Santokhis, we don't have no desire. But Saaz Sangat, as you know, there's many Pakhandis in this world. Many Pakhandis even with turbans and beards. We've got some of them sitting and running our Panth in Punjab. Right? If you go to Harmandir Sahib itself, you see many of these people. They look like Sikhs, talk like Sikhs, but they're actually ruining Sikhi. So, there are these people that are Santokhis. And I remember when we were going to Sutre Shah story, we haven't got the time to go through that story, but it's a famous story, Sutre Shah, when this guy came to meet Guru Har Gobind Sahib Ji, a sannyasi, and he was a bit ahankari, a bit proud, actually sat next to Guru Sahib. When Guru Maharaj said to him, have a seat, he went and sat next to Maharaj on their own takht. Yeah? And Sutre Shah got very annoyed. And Sutre Shah, when this guy starts speaking to Maharaj, he says, I'm a tyagi, I'm a renunciate. And Maharaj says, what's your name? He says, my name is Shan Sarup Balkhandi Mahatma. Give himself his whole full title. You know, like nowadays people have big titles. Yeah. So, you know, like, so he says, my name is Shant Sarup Balkhandi Mahatma. Shant Sarup means I'm very calm. My whole form is very calm. Sutre Shah thought, this guy don't look that calm. He looks like he's got a bit of ankar inside him. He looks like he's got a bit of anger inside him, because people that are proud, they've also got anger. Why? When you insult them, they get angry very quickly. Somebody who's actually Shant Sarup won't get affected by somebody insulting them. So Sutre starts to insult this person. He's doing Chaur Sahib of Guru Har Gobind Sahib Maharaj. That guy can't, Guru Har Gobind Sahib Ji can't see Sutre, but Sutre, what he does is, whenever this guy is speaking, he says, let me see if this fire inside this guy can be lit up. You know when you have a fire, you can take a poker and poke it into that fire, and if it's calmed down, it will come back. So he starts to use his finger as a bit of a poker, and he starts to make actions like this when the guy is talking, to see if he can shake that fire inside him. First he does it with one finger, the guy goes a bit annoyed. Then he does it with 2 fingers, and then when he goes, oh, he's going to get a bit more annoyed, then he does it with all 5 fingers, starts to make faces at him, and Guru Har Gobind Sahib Ji sitting there talking to him, and that guy blows up then, he gets very angry and starts shouting at Sutre. And Sutre is asked by Guru Har Gobind Sahib Ji, what were you doing? And he goes, Maharaj, nothing. I was just doing nothing. I don't know why he's getting annoyed. And he goes, no, he was making fingers like this. He was doing these things and making me annoyed. And he says, Maharaj, all it was is, I could see a fire burning inside this guy, Shant Sarup. He thinks he's Shant Sarup, I could see a fire. And I was just testing to see if that fire would burn. And look, it's burning in front of you. You can see how annoyed he is. He's not Shant Sarup Mahatma at all. So then that guy ran away then from Maharaj, because only besti hogi. Yeah. So Maharaj says that the people that actually are like this, the people that get to that level, they actually sing of you as well, Maharaj. Gavan tudno jati sati santoki, gavan tudno veer karare. What does veer karare mean? It means karare is like a strong. So a hero, but a very strong hero, a great brave warrior. Even they sing of you, Vaheguru. Sometimes you come across somebody who's very big and strong, and we think, oh, this person must think he's amazing. But in fact, the greatest warriors are the ones that actually sing about you, Vaheguru, as well. And Maharaj carries on in the next shabad. They say, Gavan tudno pandit padan rakhi sar, jug jug veda nale. Maharaj says, oh Vaheguru, the pandits sing of you as well. The pandits padan rakhi sar. They keep reading. Padde rende. The pandits that are very famous for having many Vedas memorized. If you look in India, you'll have Chaturvedi. There's somebody who's got 4 Vedas memorized. Trivedi, somebody's got 3 Vedas memorized. Yeah? Drivedi, these are people that have got 2 Vedas memorized. So they have a title when they go further up the level of books they've memorized. So Maharaj says, Gavan tudno pandit padan rakhi sar. What is rakhi sar? The Rishi. The Rishis also sing of you, Vaheguru. The Pandits sing of you. The Rishis sing of you. Maharaj says, Jug Jug Veda Nale. The Jug Jug Veda Nale means that in every Jug, there is a Ved that is relevant to that Jug. And there's also a Devta, an avatar of Vaheguru, that is relevant to that Jug as well. The avatar. In Satyug, it's supposed to be Sham Ved and Hans avatar. In Treta, it's supposed to be Rig Ved and Ram avatar. In Dwapar, is meant to be Yajurved and Krishna avatar, and in Kaljug it's a Tharban Ved and Nehkalank avatar. Who is that? What does Nehkalank mean? Kalank means a mark, and a Nehkalank means without a mark, a pure avatar. Who is that Nirmal avatar of Vaheguru of Kaljug? Guru Nanak Dev Ji Maharaj. He is Kaljug avatar, Nehkalank. In Jab Sahib Guru Gobind Singh Ji says, Kalankang Bina Nehkalankang Sarupe. That he is without a kalank, without a mark, he is Nehkalank Sarup, he is perfectly pure. Nanak Nirmal Panth Chalaya. Gunadi Ji Maharaj started this Panth, which is Nirmal, and Bani is Nirmal as well. He is a form of Vaheguru upon earth in this Kaljug. Maharaj says, Gavan Tudano Mohaniya Man Mohana Surga Mach Peyale. We have to be careful here to say Surg and not Surga. In Japji Sahib is Surga, and Rehraas Sahib is Surg. Maharaj says, the Mohaniya, Gavan Tudno Mohaniya, these beautiful women that are so beautiful that your man Mohan, your mind will get attracted to them, your mind will get lost inside them. Who is the main Mohini they're talking about? There was a time when when we talk about Choda Ratan, because we're going to talk about that in a minute, that came about when the Devas and the Asurs, the demons and the Devte got together and they churned the milky ocean, Samundra Manthan, to find the 14 jewels. And one of the 14 jewels was Amrit. And the demons, they got hold of the Amrit. And they were not going to give it to Devi Devte. At that time, Vishnu dresses up as a woman. The only avatar he had as a woman was Mohini. And he was so beautiful as a woman that he got the demons all confused and he stole the Amrit of them. So Mohaniya, Manamohan. If you look at our lives, there's many things, if you look at India, who've cut their case after women as well. They wanted to marry somebody and the girl says, I'll marry you, but I don't want anybody with case. And you see this happening in our Paatth right now, in Punjab and over here as well, when men are leaving the Amrit that is promised to them, in the same way in this story, leaving that Amrit that Guru Sahib is giving to them for the sake of women. Mohaniya, Manamohan. Maharaj says, if you look at a Sikh should never be attached to the woman to that extent. Because that is also moho. This is where moho comes from, attachment. We shouldn't be attached. Our first attachment is to our Guru. Sachi Preet, Ham Tumse Ojori, Avar Sang Tori. The beauty that is available now on somebody when they're young, that beauty will go. Jar Ai, Joban Harya. When you rust, as we all do in life, we will rust. Jar aa jayegi. What will happen? Joban Harya. That youth, wane har jana. In front of age, in front of time, youth will always fail. Many old women walk around with pride about how they used to look back when they were young. But it's gone now. So don't get attached to that youth. Get attached to the Sachi, the Sach here. The Maharaj says next, Surg Mach Pyale. Surg here means the Devi Devte, Swarg Log. Mach means the people of the world, Mat Log. And then Pyale refers to the demonic world, the Patal. So Surg, Mach Pyale. All three worlds, Devi Devte, the Rakshas and the people in the world, they all sing of you, Vaheguru. Gavan Tudno Ratan Upaye Tere Athe Sat Tirath Nale. Oh Vaheguru, even the 14 jewels, the 14 Ratan that we talked about now that were created in Samundra Manthan, they all sing of you as well. Some of the ones that we know about, the Ratans, is like Lakshmi, the goddess of money. She was created at that time. She's one of the Ratans. Also, the god of alcohol, the goddess of alcohol, she was created at that time. Kamtena, that famous wish-fulfilling cow. Parjat, that famous tree whose blossom never go down and can also fulfill wishes, that also was created at that time. But also the main one for us to think about is Amrit. That was created at that time. But Maharaj is saying that those beings that look for the Amrit, they went looking for it. Surnar, Munjan, Amrit Khoj De. That same Amrit that they were looking for, they went through all those missions to get that Amrit. Maharaj says, so Amrit Gurte Paya. It's available to us right now, to the Panch Pyare. Maharaj says, Athe Sathe Tirath that there's 68 places in the Hindu Dharam, not the Hindu Dharam, but in Indian culture, where there's 68 places that are the Tiraths. And Maharaj says, all these Tiraths sing of you, Vaheguru. In fact, Guru Arjan Dev Ji Maharaj says, At Sat Tirath Jah Saad Pagta Tarhe. They say, you know, when you want to go to At Sat Tirath, don't go to the At Sat Tirath, they say. You want to find that? Find a Saad person where they put their feet, that place is At Sat Tirath for us. Then they say, Teh Bakhunt Jai Naam Uchar Hai. They go, you want to go to heaven? Heaven is where Naam is talked about. Where there is Naam, that is heaven. This is exactly what we're talking about right now. What is heaven like? Heaven, they sing of Vaheguru. How do you sing of Vaheguru? Either you sing Kirtan or you sing his name. Vaheguru, Vaheguru. This is what's happening in Sachkhand as well, that we do in a Gurdwara. Maharaj says, Gavan Tudno Jod Mahabal Sura, Gavan Tudno Khani Chare. You say, Vaheguru, the Jod Mahabal Sura. These are three different beings of three different levels, and Vaheguru, they sing of you. The Jod are the low level warriors, the Mahabali are the higher level warriors, and then the Surveer, the Sura, they're the highest warriors. Now there's three ways of looking at this word. The Jods Jo does, they fight people one-on-one. But actually what this means in a spiritual sense is that they control their body. The Mahabalis, they can fight 10,000 to 1, but what this means here is that they also control their 10 senses, the 10 indriyam. But the Surveer, they can fight infinite number of people against each other, against themselves, but this means they stop all their desires. Somebody who can control all their desires. Jo nar dukh mein dukh nahi mane. This person is a Sura. So kahiyat hai Sura. Jako har rang lago is jug mein so kahiyat hai Sura. When we fall in love with Vaheguru, you become the highest level of warrior. So when you use this word Sura, the Jodh and Mahabal are lower level warriors. The highest warrior is a Sura. And in Sikhi, you could take this to mean that the first person is the one who listens, the Jodh. The Mahabali is a person who accepts that what is being taught to him, accepts Naam. And the biggest warrior is that person that listens, accepts, and then does what the Naam is telling him to do, follows Bani, and reaches the highest level of spirituality. Maharaj says, Gavan Tudno Khani Chare, that the 4 sources of creation also sing of you. What are these 4 sources? Andaj, from eggs. Jairaj, from womb, as we are all born. Setaj, from sweat and secretion. And then also Utbuj, from seeds that grow up from the earth, vegetation. All these things, these Chari Khani, they also sing of you, Vaheguru, because they're living in your hukum. You never saw a seed say, I don't want to grow today. Can't be bothered. No. They live in hukum. When they're living in hukum, that means they're singing to Vaheguru as well. Because they're vibrating with Vaheguru's hukum. They're not going against his hukum, they're staying in his hukum. Maharaj says, Gavan Tudno Khand Mandal Brahmanda Karka Rakhe Tere Tare. Say, Vaheguru, the 9 Khand, the 9 continents, the Mandal, meaning the solar system, or the planets, and also Maharaj, the Brahmand, the galaxies. All these galaxies, they sing of you as well. How can a planet sing of you? How can a solar system sing of you? By living in your hukum. You never saw the earth once say, I don't want to rotate around the sun anymore. I'm quite tired of that. 2 million years of this, 2 billion years, I can't be bothered. No. They live in the hukum, they don't go against his hukum. Purman tera sire upar, phir na karad bichar. They don't ever turn away from Guru Sahib's hukum. They are called, that's how we should be. They're singing of him by living in his hukum. Maharaj says, Karka rakhe tere tare. They stay in your maryada. They stay as where you put them. But another meaning of this is that all the beings on this world also live in your maryada. And by living in your maryada, Karka rakhe tere tare. Tare hai ke mean that they achieve you by living in your rakhya hoya hukum. Rakhna means also maryada. Apni rahat vich rehna. They live in your rahat and they achieve you by living in your rahat. People on other planets might have a different rahat. What we have is our rahat. We follow our rahat. Maharaj says, Sei tudno gavan jo tud pavan ratte tere pagat rasale. Maharaj says, they sing of you who make you happy. Jo tonu pande hege, those that make you happy, they sing of you, Vaheguru. Ratte tere pagat rasale. And the pagats, Vaheguru, they are ratte hoye. Ratte ishq khudai. They are absorbed in you, Vaheguru. They're singing so much love of you. They're totally absorbed in you, in your ras, in your flavor. Maharaj says, Hor kete tudno gavan, se main chitna avan, Nanak kya bichare. The word Nanak has come here because there's a bit of a pause. There's a bit of a pause because Maharaj says here, I can't even contemplate how many more people sing of you. They were there in Sachkhand for 3 days. I saw so many people sing of Vaheguru in Sachkhand. I can't even contemplate how many more people they were singing of you. So Maharaj says, Hor kete tudno gavan. How many more people sing of you, Vaheguru? Se main chitna avan. I can't even think of all of them. Nanak kya bichare. What can Nanak contemplate upon this? They say, I'm so small, Vaheguru is so immense. In Sachkhand, there's so many beings sing of you, Vaheguru. I can't go on anymore. And at this point, Najjar pause because now they've been talking about Sachkhand, but now Bibi Nanaki says to them, tell me something. What is Vaheguru like? And the next bit, Maharaj is talking about Vaheguru. And we'll get to that next week. So, which is the bit Maharaj says, Soi Dasat Sahib, Sacha, Sachi Nai. This bit is a pause. Maharaj and Saaz talking about Vaheguru themselves. They've talked about what Sachkhand is like, what the house is like, what the home is like. Now they talk about that being itself, Akal Purakh Vaheguru. So I'm sure in doing Katha, I must have made loads of mistakes. So I beg your forgiveness. So, Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh.
Vaheguru, Vaheguru.
If you enjoyed this video, please like, comment, share and subscribe. Please donate and help spread Guruji's message. Link is in the description below. Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh.
Vaheguru.